Clean Spark, when Moon, what will it look like when this thing decides to take off? Today's actually a pretty brutal day for Clean Spark. We're down 7.58%, but what could we potentially be looking at here after the dilution, after the run-up? What kinds of price points could we potentially be looking at with Clean Spark? Let's get into that right now. Okay, so we're going to do a couple of calculations. We're going to play with some numbers. Of course, take this with a grain of salt. This is a price prediction video, meaning that everything could be completely off base and incorrect, but it is a fun exercise to do nonetheless, especially on days like today where we are down significantly on the stock. And it's just a little reminder of why we're here, why we're doing this, what this stock means in terms of what we're expecting from it going into the future. So let's get into this stock right now. So right now we are sitting on a $3.4 billion market cap. We did just get some news for dilution of $1.3 billion going into next year. Now, we don't know if they're going to use the entirety of that dilution that they have available to them. We do know they will use at least 500 million, probably an additional 50% of that 800 million they just added. So at a bare minimum case, I think we're looking at potentially $900 million of dilution minimum. Now, maximum, of course, at this time is 1.3 billion of dilution that we're looking at, and potentially more depending on what management decides to do with this stock. Now, we know why they're doing this, and it is very likely that they are doing this because they are looking to acquire sites. They want to be um, strategically placed with capital going into the halving, because we are in unknown times right now with Bitcoin, with the halving coming up, with how we don't know what profitability is going to look like in 2 weeks. Things are precarious at the moment, so being cashed up is actually a good thing for these companies right now, and companies like CleanSpark that have been benefiting from a huge increase in stock and in share price are sitting in a position where they could dilute relatively safely and protect themselves from any potential threats on the horizon as we go into the halving. So that's likely why they were doing this. They're probably looking to acquire some sites. In fact, they've mentioned that they are aggressively looking to expand and grow and achieve that 30 plus exahash very quickly this year. So that's likely what they're going to do with it. So let's see what we're looking at in this case. So first we're going to go with the base case that they're going to use the whole thing. Let's just assume they're going to use the entire shelf offering that they've got out there right now and see what that looks like in terms of what we would need our market cap to look like in order to achieve certain dollar values. So we got 3.4. So we got 1.3 billion divided by the current market cap of 3.44 billion. That is a 37.7, well, we'll round up to 37.8% increase in that. So that would be a 37.8% increase of the shares outstanding, because that's 37.8% of the company. So currently we've got 198 million shares outstanding. So if we took that 198 million, times it by 1.388 or 378, excuse me, 198 times by 1.378, we'd be looking at 272.8 million shares for CleanSpark. So if we were to have 272.844 million shares of CleanSpark, what would our market cap need to look like in order to achieve the levels of value that we're looking for? So we're going to use what we've done in the past, where we previously used Mara as the benchmark, and their previous highest market cap was $7.5 billion. I like to go to 8, so let's start with $8 billion. What does the price of CleanSpark look like if we reach $8 billion with this full dilution? Okay, so 272.844. So we've got 8,000 representing 8 billion divided by 272.844. That would be $29. So with full dilution, we hit $8 billion, we can reach $29 on the stock for CleanSpark in that situation. That's a bit. Okay, so that's not a lot of upside from where we currently are if we only get to $8 billion. Now let's see what happens if we do $10 billion. It's not going to be significantly more, but if we can reach a $10 billion market cap on CleanSpark at 272.844 shares, let's see what that looks like. So that would be 10,000 in this case, divided by 272.844, and we'd be looking at a $36.65 CleanSpark. So that is absolutely within the realm of achievability for this stock, given its management, given its growth plans, given the fact that Bitcoin is going to be increasing in value here very soon, very quickly. $36. So not a huge increase. I mean, that's $20 from our current price of $17.39. This is actually showing wrong. There we go. Refresh that. $17.24. We're looking at nearly a $20 increase from our current price right now. I'll take that any day. Let's get more interesting. If you've been with me for a while and watched a couple of these when moons, you know I like to look at some of the meme coins from the crypto market and look at their market cap and compare that to these companies that are actually producing something of value. So let's take Dogecoin for example. Dogecoin today is at $27.2 billion of value. Again, Dogecoin is a meme coin. Doesn't do anything. Does absolutely nothing. People just like it. Okay, $27 billion. So let's say that CleanSpark was able to achieve the market cap of this coin that does nothing, and what our value would be if we actually matched this thing that doesn't do anything. So we're going to take that $27.2 billion and see if at full dilution, what our value would be here. So, and that's 272.844. So 27,200 divided by 272.844. Okay, let's see what our valuation for CleanSpark would be if we achieve Dogecoin's market cap in this cycle. $99.69. There's our 5x from our current price. If we were to just simply achieve Dogecoin's market cap, again, meme coin, doesn't do anything, has $27 billion of value just because people like it. So can CleanSpark reach $27 billion next cycle? I don't know if it can. That is a huge valuation for companies. I think that in terms of trading stocks, there's a little more scrutiny on whether or not people are going to buy it or not, and not just ape into it. I mean, they've done it with GameStop, they've done it with AMC. Will they do it with CleanSpark? I don't know. But that's a fun exercise. If it were to reach the Dogecoin market cap, we'd be sitting at just under $100 per share for CleanSpark at full dilution. Now let's do one more. Let's go down a peg here. I do think that this is achievable. Shiba Inu, another meme coin, another thing that does absolutely nothing, currently has a valuation of $15.675 billion. I do think that CleanSpark could potentially reach that market cap. So let's see what our price would be at full dilution if we reached just Shiba Inu's market cap. $57.45. So $57.45 if we were able to reach the Shiba Inu market cap on CleanSpark. I think that's really achievable. And where we are, that's a 3x from a little more than a 3x from our current price of $17.48. So there is potential upside here. CleanSpark is aggressive. They have competent management. They have used these offerings in the past in order to rapidly grow the company. If you remember, we grew 60% just in January and February in terms of hash rate. We're going to do it again going into the second half of 2024 and beyond. They're a competent company. They're doing good things. They're working on one of the most important networks in the world. They are working on quickly becoming one of the biggest, possibly the biggest if they stay on track, publicly traded miner in the world. I have confidence that they're going to achieve great things with this money, with their company. Now, let's take it a step further. Let's say that they only use, say, 900 million of that dilution. And we said the market cap currently was 3.44. So let's see, 0.9 divided by 3.44. Whoops, 0.9 divided by 3.44 is 26%. So that'd be a 26% increase. Well, 26.2. Let's do a 26.2% increase. That'd be 249 million shares. Now, let's look again. If it were to reach 8 billion, 10 billion, 15 billion, and then finally perhaps reach Dogecoin's market cap at $27 billion. And let's see if they did slightly less dilution, where we would find ourselves with CleanSpark in that scenario. So we're going to start with the $8 billion market cap with 249 million point. Well, let's go with 0.9. 249 million 0.9 shares up in the wild. So 8 billion, which is represented by 8,000 here, 249.9, $32. We'd be looking at $32 if they did slightly less dilution than they have set themselves up for right now, which they could do. Now that we've assumed that they would do the total amount, and that was what, 274, 274 million shares, and if they did slightly less, it'd be 250 million shares, basically. So $32 is where we would be sitting in that scenario. Let's see if 10 billion. $40, okay, good doubling, a good doubling if we hit $10 billion. Now, if we hit Shiba Inu's market cap of 15,72721 divided by 249.9, $62.9 per share for CleanSpark in that scenario if we reach $15 billion market cap, which is just Shiba Inu's market cap. Again, meme coin doesn't do anything. $15 billion valuation currently compared to CleanSpark. If they achieve that with slightly less dilution, that would be $900 million of dilution versus 1.3 billion, but we would reach just under $63 in that scenario. Now, the big question, can we reach Dogecoin's valuation of $27 billion? And if we were to do that with slightly less dilution at 900 million dilution versus 1.3 billion dilution, we would be sitting at 108.99, basically $109 per share of CleanSpark as an ultimate goal in the bull run, assuming slightly less dilution than CleanSpark has put on the books, and they reach Dogecoin's market cap, we'd be looking at just over $100, which isn't significantly higher than if they were to do the full dilution. Now, can they reach that $27 billion market cap? That is for the future to tell us and for us to speculate on. I don't know if they will reach $27 billion. I think that is a lofty goal. I think that may be slightly out of the realm of possibility here. I do think that $15 billion is a possibility. I think that is a possibility. Mara's done 7.5 billion in the previous cycle. We have Bitcoin becoming significantly more important than it was in the last cycle with lots of institutional investment. These publicly traded, especially American publicly traded, Bitcoin miners are becoming quickly very important in securing one of the most important networks on the globe. So these companies, while they are currently being punished for their exposure to this risk-on asset, they are securing an increasingly important network to our institutions and eventually to our government. So yeah, they are going to be getting more of a benefit of the doubt here very soon. They are going to see a benefit from their exposure to Bitcoin very soon, given the rapidly increasing importance of Bitcoin in society around the world and eventually here at home. They'll figure it out that it's important and it will get that appreciation that it deserves. So we'll probably see higher valuations than we did in the previous cycle on these Bitcoin miners. So I do think that that is within the realm of possibility. And just for one more look here, if we did full dilution, which I believe was 274 point, I can't remember, 844, 274, 844, I believe is what it was. If I can't remember if I'm doing it wrong, just correct me in the comments or rewind the video and look at what it was. 15 billion 700 divided by 274.844. I think that's what it was. $57 is very much a possibility. Again, this is not financial advice nor a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any assets whatsoever. It is simply speculation. It is simply working with assumptions based on current information. These things could change. They could dilute more. They could reach higher market caps than this for all I know. I don't know what's going to happen in the future, but with my current information that I have right now, based on that, it is looking like CleanSpark could potentially reach just under $60 if everything goes correctly this cycle. So with that said, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a profitable day.